Hi everyone, I'm Marianna from Project Renegade and you're watching Metal Robot Reviews.
Initializing video. Metal interview. Welcome to the program. This is Metal Robot Reviews.
Welcome to the Metal Robot Reviews channel. I'm your host, Tom McKay, and today, a couple weeks ago, I got the chance to sit down with a band by the name of Project Renegade, actually specifically their lead singer, to talk about their debut album, Order of the Minus, and a bunch of other things like playing live with Evanescence. We get the chance to talk about all of this and more a couple weeks ago. So let's take a look at the footage and see how that went. Marianna, how are you doing today?
Fine, thank you, Tom. I'm very well. You know, it's quite late here in Greece, but everything.
It's different time zone. What time is it over there? I wasn't really sure what time it was.
1:30 in the morning.
Oh my gosh! If you start feeling tired, just let me know. Tap out. We know that Project Renegade's sound is very heavy, very groove laden. It also includes some electronic sampling and glitch effects, stuff like that. My question is, where do you take a lot of the inspiration for your sounds? Like, where's a lot of the sound come from?
Well, you know, me and Dodi, who are the founders of the band, we have a lot of influences, not only from metal music, but also from other genres. Our sound derives from our personalities, and I think that personalities, you know, have different levels and some, you know, weird things that happen. I mean, you're talking about the glitches. I mean, a personality, if you want to say, can have a glitch in it, and, you know, can have, you know, weird, you know, dropouts and, dynamics. So I think that is reflected in our music. We never discuss, you know, what our sound is going to be. Like, say, we're going to be, you know, like a metalcore band or a groove metal band or a goth band. So we never did anything like that.
No, like, definition of what sound you're trying to be. We're not going to be party metal. We're not going to have a kazoo solo or anything like that. We're not going to do any of this. It's all, like, just from the heart. It's all from your personality.
Yeah. And sometimes, you know, it's quite chaotic, but I believe that through that chaos, we always find, you know, a way to unify everything and, you know, present a cohesive result.
A big thing that, you know, me as I like to focus on, not just as a critic, but also as a listener. When I'm listening to a new band that I've discovered or has been sent my way, the first question I ask while listening is, what does this band do differently from the others that I've heard? I personally feel like, for you guys at least, the atmosphere that you present in your music is something a bit more unique compared to some of the other bands in the genre of alternative, industrial, Brompton cocktail combination of shit. My question is, what do you feel like you guys do differently from the other bands out there?
I don't know. What we are, I wouldn't say that, you know, that we have ever thought that we're going to do that is different from other bands. I believe that we are different because we are, you know, exactly what we are in our real lives. Our ideas, our messages, our way of thinking is reflected in our music. And I believe that, you know, if you do that, it's unique. Every person is unique. So, you know, we are trying to reflect our personalities in our music. And that is, I believe that is the most important thing. We do not try to, you know, follow a formula or, you know, see that what another band has done and, you know, follow that because, you know, that band is successful or, you know, that is something that people will like and that sells. What we want to do is about honesty and about who we are as a person. And, you know, I believe that if every artist does that, his sound, his or her sound will be unique.
It's all about the uniqueness of the people in the music, not necessarily the music itself, is what you're trying to say. Okay. Yeah, diversity is a huge thing that's very important. Speaking of that, though, your debut full-length album, Order of the Minus.
Yeah.
It was released last year on Halloween, and the album itself, it explores, in a way, social strife, loss, psychological conflicts, as well as, quote, the unity through diversity. Yeah. That quote actually caught my eye when I was reading through, and can you go into further detail of what exactly do you mean by unity through diversity?
That phrase was something that we always thought, even, you know, when we started the band. You know, we started that band because, you know, we wanted to spread a message that stereotypes and ideas that many people have nowadays. It's time to get over them. It's time to see beyond gender, see beyond race, see beyond religion, sexual orientation. I mean, it's 2020. You cannot have those barriers with your relationships with other people. That's one of the main messages that we wanted to spread through our music, and our latest video that dropped out yesterday. It's about that. It's about how you have to surpass labels and surpass anything that can be correct, that can divide you from other people. Come through the darkness and believe in yourself. Love life, live your life, and do it in harmony and peace with each other.
You managed to score opportunities to share the stage with big bands like Evanescence, Harakiri for the Sky, Bullet for My Valentine, and many others, all of which are objectively great bands. Well, aside from Bullet, that depends on who you ask and when you asked it, but nevertheless, you guys are doing things that most smaller bands could only dream of doing. What is that like for you guys? How does that feel?
Surreal for us too. It's like meeting your heroes in reality. And one of my first concerts was Evanescence here in Greece back in 2004, I think. And 15 years later I'm playing with them. It's like I could never imagine that. It's an honor to share the stage with such great musicians, and to be able to present your music in their fans, and see how your music is gonna affect them, if they like it or if they don't. Thankfully, they did like us. It's like really a dream coming true, because you get to meet also those guys backstage. And it's like it's a surreal thing. I mean, Audie, our drummer, was saying when we went to play with Evanescence, we were taking pictures with the members and everything. And Emily was like, "Okay, I want to get a picture with you too, guys." And she gave her phone to our drummer, and he was like, "Oh, holy fuck! I'm holding Emily's iPhone." I mean, it's like surreal that. Yeah.
I'm fanboying so hard. Oh my god.
Yeah, something like that. Oh my god, I'm gonna drop it.
Oh, if he dropped the phone, that would be a different story of its own. Oh dear God. I can only imagine how that would have gone, like posted on Loudwire. Drummer drops Amy Lee's phone. Oh God. So with how the music industry is laid out as of right now, and how it's and just me being blunt here, it's basically set up to bend over bands to fuck them over. But with the recognition you've already received from these bigger bands and playing and sharing the stage with them, where do you see Project Renegade in 5, 10, even 15 years from now? And as I ask the question, the call freezes. Oh no.
Okay, ask something. I'm losing you. Okay. So,
oh yeah, we're good. Okay. I just love it. As soon as I asked the question, you were like, "Oh God," and all of a sudden.
Yeah, the situation is very difficult for smaller bands who are up and coming, and they're trying their best to spread their music to the audience, and to gain fans and crowd and people who will come to see their shows. I believe that the fact that the labels are not actually supporting new bands, and they do not invest in new bands, it's not very encouraging, I should say. And it's not encouraging for the bands to actually work with the labels. That was a problem that we had to, that was a dilemma for us too. We had some propositions, but they were not exactly like something that we were willing to sacrifice and give them half or a bigger portion of our music to gain from us, to say the truth, and not receive something back from it. That is very difficult, and I hope that this will change, or that that we will try to do as many things as we can on our own in order to have a viable fan base, and to to grow and to do even more stuff, even more professional stuff, and to give back to our fans, because every band, I believe, wants the support and a bigger audience in order to do even more things for them. Writing music is something that we are always doing. Even right now that we have just released a record, it's like not 3 months old, and we are already writing for the next record. So I know that there will always be the creative process will always be on. So I'm sure that records will come in the next 5 years. Sure, in the next 10 years.
How long does it take to make an album for you guys? Like from the beginning of the writing process straight to the end of the mastering?
1.5 years, something like that. There are a lot of layers in our music. So, you have to write the riff. Okay, you have to write the guitar and the drums and then the bass. And then, you got to have the orchestration and the electronics and then the vocals and then, the backing vocals, which is a lot of, work, all of that. And we're always, trying to, tweak something here and there, so we don't rush ourselves. That's why we're always starting, way early the writing process. Even, during the EP, while we were recording the EP, we were also writing for Order of the Minus. The recordings usually do not last very long. It depends, on factors like economics mostly.
And whether or not people remember their parts when getting into the studio?
No, we don't have problems like that. Thankfully. We are, very
just get in the studio. How does everything go? The final question, and I feel like this is probably the most important question of the bunch. If you could be any cereal box character, who would you be?
Any?
Any
what? Cereal
box character. Most of the question just went over your head, didn't it? Cereal box character, like...
Okay, from cereals, the ones that we are eating, right?
Yeah, like the Lucky Charms leprechaun or Tony the Tiger.
Okay, I would say it's Count Chocula.
Oh, okay. That's 2 Count Choculas. Awesome. Marianna, thank you so much for taking the time at 1:30 in the morning, or as it 2 o'clock in the morning by this point, I'm guessing.
It's okay.
To sit down with us. So Project Renegade, check them out. Order of the Minus is out everywhere on digital. Any physical copies in Europe as well, or anywhere?
Yeah, of course. We have physical copies. You can order them from our Bandcamp, and of course, if you come to one of our shows, we are shipping them everywhere in the world. We have shipped to Japan, to Russia, to the US, to Canada, to everywhere. Everywhere.
Well, once again, thank you so much for sitting down with us. Project Renegade, you can find all of the links in the description of this video below. With that said, thank you so much for watching. Thanks again for coming on. I've said that like 3 times now, but I can't say it enough. Click subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the mosh pit next time. Have a good night.